I'm trying to play.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. This is the second day of our wonderful virtual summit hosted by Afro International Film Market and Festival. Here we are today, very excited to see the players in the film industry here with us. All right, let me quickly bring everybody to stage so we can greet. Here is Chief Jasper Johnson, who is the founder and executive chairman of Afro International Film Market and Festival. Chief, would you just greet the people and I can bring in our special guests? Over to you, please. Open this session again.
Thank you, my amiable partner, Dr. Msikin Koko. We really appreciate all your work. We appreciate the sacrifices. Thank you. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Chief Jasper Johnson, of Chair the 7th of Ahua Kingdom, Rivers State, Nigeria. It is my singular honor and privilege to once again welcome you to this epoch-making event, which is One Team, One Market, One Legacy International Virtual Summit, with the theme, the African Film Economy, Challenges and Opportunities and Possibilities. So we welcome you guys from the United States of America, we welcome you guys from the United Kingdom, from South Africa, Kenya, Ghana, Nigeria, and all over the world to this wonderful event today. Once again, yesterday was a very amazing and fantastic section. We had speakers from all over the world discussing the real issues about the film economy, not only in Africa, but how best we can partner, collaborate, and come up with something very wonderful for global entertainment. Today is the grand finale of this event. We're also going to start looking at issues bordering on the film economy in Africa, the challenges, and of course, the great opportunities that are waiting for everybody. Both the filmmakers, the actors, the producers, the directors, the cinematographers, as well as the investors from all over the world. We are all aware that Africa has the potential for this film economy taking it forward. We've got the great potential to create jobs up to 50 million jobs per annum. This industry has also the capacity to generate over $20 billion annually. But as we speak today, it's just $5 billion. Therefore, the gap is so much, and our role is to see how best we can come up with issues, policies, and implementation of these policies, and be able to attract the right investment, the right incentive from government, the right environment for filmmaking, and of course, the right and adequate distribution channels for our content. We are also aware that the creative and the culture industry in Africa is blossoming, is gathering momentum in such fast pace. And so all stakeholders must come together under firm collaboration and take this economy to the next level. Therefore, ladies and gentlemen, I take this opportunity once again to welcome you all to this platform so we can have this conversation and be able to come up with roadmaps for the glorious future in African film. I want to thank especially my good friend from Las Vegas, the co-founder of Indie Film Factory, Mr. Kelly Schwartz, for finding time, despite his busy schedule, to be here with us today. We are very excited to have you in our midst, and we pray that this collaboration will go deeper and deeper. I also want to thank the Queen of Nollywood in our midst today, the amiable, vibrant actress in person of Shan George. She has been in this industry in Nigeria for decades. She's a wonderful producer. She has produced feature movies. She has produced documentaries. She's part of very great activities in the Nollywood of Nigeria and indeed in Africa. We welcome you, my sister, for coming on board with us and helping us to share this message of prosperity for our industry. I also welcome all the speakers from America, all the speakers from UK, the Vice President of PZAZ, Ms. Font. I know you're here with us. And then Right Honorable, our financial guru is also here with us. So, ladies and gentlemen, without boring you with so much to talk about tonight, let me once again usher everybody into this summit, and then we're going to conclude with the roundtable, so we'll be able to see how best we can encourage each and every one of us to be part of the new African movie industry. Thank you, and you're welcome.
Thank you very much, Chief. And at this stage, I just want to introduce quickly all our special guests who are here already, and to show that really we respect people, and when they said they will show up, they showed up. Let me bring to stage Queen of Nollywood. Here she is. We have Shan George. Say hi to the people. Thank you. Thank you, Sean. And I'm bringing in the ladies first. I bring in the Queen of Designing Industry from California in the USA. Here's Kat Oshman. Just say hi to the people, sis.
Hello, beautiful people.
Thank you. And I quickly bring in, I know when he was here very early first, I bring in Kelly. Kelly Schwarzer, just say hi to the people. Oh, yes, you muted. They want to hear your voice.
Sorry, I had it on mute. Good morning and good afternoon, wherever you're watching.
Thank you so much.
Hello.
All right, and I bring in, when they see this person that I'm going to bring in, people expect one thing. Here is Leroy Butler. He is the apostle from Nassau, Bahamas. And just greet the people, please.
Hey, good morning, good evening, good night. Leroy Butler all the way from Nassau, Bahamas. Hope you guys are doing good.
Thank you. People expect that thing. Who let the dog out? Not today. Today we are talking about Afro film and market. I'm going to bring to stage quickly the queen from Nollywood, queen of the film industry, Shan George. She's on the set right now, but she quickly said, okay, let me come and do my dues. So we're not going to delay. Please, over to you. Just share with us what is happening in the economy of the film industry.
Thank you very much. Thank you for giving me this opportunity. I have been a movie actor. I started by acting. That was in 1996. Then I started producing in 1998. So I've been in this industry since 1996. So far, we are having a very, how would I call it, a robust movie industry in Nigeria. We have a lot of creatives. We have beautiful locations. We have a very awesome stories, but we don't have markets. What we lack is a good market, good marketing platforms for our movies. And also we don't have financing, let me call it that, financing, like sponsors, people who will show the interest enough to invest in the industry, people who will have the confidence enough to invest in the industry, because they have this fear of not being able to recoup their money whenever they invest. And also because the way the system is, the system in the country does not give that room for people to be able to get financing for their projects. Um, Even the banks, I have tried to get loan from the bank, and they asked me to bring this, bring that, this document, that document. I spent 3 weeks of going back and forth with the bank. At the end of the day, they still said I should bring a guarantor. Now, a guarantor is somebody that if you're not able to pay whatever monies you were given, that guarantor is supposed to be somebody that will come and sign and say, okay, if these people don't pay this money, or if this person does not refund this money, or is not able to refund this money, or has made losses from the business they have collected this money to invest in. So because of that, they are not able to pay back. I am going to pay this money. That's what a guarantor is in the banks here. Unfortunately, it's very rare to find somebody that will be a guarantor for you here, because a lot of people, they don't quite believe in the industry. They don't quite believe in movies. They don't see movies and documentaries. In fact, they don't take us that seriously. So because of that, it's difficult to find financing. Now that's one of the challenges that we have here in Nollywood. We have very awesome stories, and we have great locations. We have awesome actors, people who are ready to sleep under the tree, under the rain, under the sun for many days, because they have a passion for the job, because they love the industry and they love the work. But we don't have the financing. That's one of the biggest issues we have. Then another issue is that we don't have good policies that will protect the copyright, that will protect your movie, documentary, whatever project you have done. There's no protection at all. Anybody can just steal it. I remember doing a job a couple of years ago. It was a movie, finished shooting, and all the rushes, I gave it to an editor, and the editor finished the work, sent the master to me. On their way to bring the master, something happened along the line. And to cut a short story shorter, because I wasn't able to get it anymore, the government could not protect me. And the guy who the thing ended up with, I went there, tried to get the police to arrest the guy. And then the Nigerian system, our African family system, even when you do arrest somebody because they have faulted or because they pirated your job, there's going to be a lot of people coming to say, please, we are sorry, forgive him, and stuff like that. So those are the challenges that we have in the industry. Financing, the system of government not protecting us, not protecting our copyright, and also the African family system, which does not really give you that opportunity or the mind to be able to say, I'm standing for this, I'm penalizing this person, I am going to put this person in court, I'm going to get this person arrested. Now, these things, they're so difficult here in Nigeria, Africa generally, because of the nuclear family system that they have. you know, like this person is your great great grandfather's uncle, sisters, aunties, something, something, something. So everybody seems to be connected. So it's difficult when they even breach, if anybody even breaches contracts for during the filming, uh, the partnership contract between people, if we want to come together to do a movie together. Now these things are like, they're a bit too watered down here because of the system, not like it is out there. Out there, I mean, like I used to live in the UK, and I know that this is like A is A and B is B. But here is difficult. It's difficult like that. That's very, very difficult. Also, the kick, what will I call it now? Kick front and kick back. We call it kick front and kick back, but that is in a very plain English, it is the bribery and corruption that goes on with some of the boards that are in charge of the industry, in charge of the content. Now, when I make a movie, I have to take the movie to, let's say I want to take the movie to Netflix. We have aggregators here that you have to pass through to be able to put your movie on either Netflix, Amazon Prime, and a couple of other platforms out there that we could have put our contents on and be able to recoup our money. So, but because we have issues of this uptightness and this corruption, if you have a content, a very good content, and you don't have any friendly relationship with those that are in the offices where they collect this content, more like the aggregators, if you are not their friend, you find it very difficult to have your content accepted, because they're first collecting from the people that they know, their own friends that are producers, their own friends that are directors, their own friends, basically. First, it doesn't even matter if the movie has met up with standard. It doesn't really matter if it is a good story, if it was well shot, if it is a good job, if the content is superb and you are not their friend, it's just going to be in your hand there. I have 2 movies I have shot that have been with me. I haven't released them on any platform, and that's because most of the platforms are collecting movies from people that they know, people they're familiar with, people who are their friends. They're not even watching. They're not even spending time to say, okay, give us a preview copy, let us see the job if it is good enough before we will talk about negotiating. They don't even want to see the job. They don't want to see the movie or documentary or whatever it is you have shot. As long as you are not their friend, your answer is no, they are not available. Oh, we're not collecting content anymore. Oh, come back next year, March or April. Oh, and all kinds of excuses. Those are another, round of challenges that we face. You take your time to do a very good script. You gather people, good actors, you do rehearsals, you get the good equipment, pre-production, production, post-production, everything's superb. Then you get to the marketing aspect, and that's it. The money you invested, and that is one of the reasons a lot of people are a bit skeptical and even afraid of investing, because they are like, okay, if we invest in this content, and when you're done, what if you are not a friend to the person that is in the position or in the office where they will collect the content? So they don't want to put money in it. Basically, those are the basic challenges that we are having. Platforms where we can market our movies. So because of that, some of us have gone to open YouTube channels. I have a YouTube channel now, Shan George TV, which I just shoot my content and I upload it on my channel. I don't even want to bother anymore. 1 or 2 movies that I have, I've not been able to sell because of these factors, this African, we call it the Nigerian factor. Because of these factors, these movies, I haven't been able to really put them on platforms that I want to put them. So some of them are still there in the hard drive. I'm still waiting for opportunity good enough for me to be able to, release the movies. or I will just upload it on my YouTube channel so that everybody can just go to my YouTube channel and watch it. So many people are actually resorting to the YouTube channel part of it, because it is very difficult now to see where you can really market your content, no matter how good the movie is. Those are the challenges we have here in Nigeria. So if we can find people who we can partner with to market our movies, or people we can partner with to do the movies that can meet up with standards that are basically across the borders of Africa, and then we can, begin to say, okay, we will be able to do a very good movie with a good financing, so that the project will be good enough to cross the boundaries of Africa. If we can do that, if we can do movies like that, I think we can really, really break through, because believe me, we have everything in Nigeria. We have all the raw materials, everything you will need to do a very fantastic international award-winning movie. We have everything on ground here in Nigeria. We just don't have the financing, and that financing is what will buff up the level of the movie. Like, we're talking low budget. We're just doing mostly what we do here are just basically low budget movies. You do a movie with 20 million naira, which is probably something like I don't know. I don't know. Please, Chief Jasper Johnson, you will help me with the exchange, because I believe 20 million naira to 30 million to 50 million naira to 100 million, we can do movies that will be able to, like, well, people like us, we are still shooting movies with maybe $10,000, $15,000, $20,000. We do them low budget, kind of try to make it good enough for at least Netflix or Nigerian television or cinema in Nigeria. In Nigeria, our cinema is still on 2.5K. We don't do even 4K. We don't even do 4K screen yet. We're still doing 2.5K. We're still filming. In fact, it's only recently we started doing 4K, because Netflix has actually recommended this camera, Blackmagic 6K Pocket. 6K Pocket Blackmagic. That's a camera that Netflix has now, recommended for us to be using. So many of us are now doing 4K, 6K filming. We haven't really been able to do the heavyweight stuff. Basically, we are just a little bit above the home video, because we started with home videos, and we are now like a little bit above the home videos for now. We haven't been able to start movie shoots with big equipment. So we're still doing the small things, but we're doing very great jobs. Honestly, our movies are so awesome. If we could have an open space, an open ground, or an open opportunity for us to put in our movies out there, I'm telling you, we're gonna be kicking a lot of butts. We kick a lot of butts with our movies. We have very good stories, typical, very, very strong African stories, African movies that carry a lot of weight, that have a lot of historical inputs, a lot of good history, a lot of African good history. And we have a lot of the props are things that they are everywhere. We have so many raw materials, so many things are on ground for movie making, as in we can blast everywhere, but we don't have the financing. And some people who actually can finance us, they are like, okay, if I can give you this amount of money to put in a movie, how are you going to sell it so that you can generate this kind of money back from the movies? So this is just basically, this is the situation back here. We're just basically pushing and managing the little that we have, and then we keep pushing and hoping that this kind of forum that we have now, this kind of coming together, this kind of discussions with all of you like this, will be able to give us a sort of leverage and a kind of improvement for us to be able to do better jobs that will meet up with standards across the world.
Yes, absolutely wonderful. Thank you so much. If I had a way of saying, let's clap hands,
Thank you, Doctor.
let me
Thank
bring
you very
everybody
much.
up to stage, honestly, because you
Thank
really
you.
poured your heart out, and I could not even disturb you. And I know we're going to catch up with the time. We
Yeah.
had to capture this, all of us. Is everybody on stage? Yes, we had to capture this, all of us, so that we don't miss anything. I took notes. I absolutely took notes, from what you were saying. And it's just that with the mindset and all the strategies way down. I think all of us here from yesterday's discussion and today, we have a solution. And we're going to come back together after the summit and have a proper meeting and start on the strategies and rolling out the solutions. So stay well and stay put, stay, on top of the box, and know that that thing you said we must kick the thing. We're gonna kick that thing. I promise you. We're gonna kick that thing. Africa is on the globe right now. So thank you so much. I know
Thank
you're
you,
rushing
Doctor.
for a set. You took your
Yes.
time out of the set. Yes. I wish you can
Yes.
take us all to the movie right now and be there with you. Take a picture, please. Then you can take us to the movie with you right now. Thank you so much. And all the best
Thank you
on
very
the
much.
movie. We want to see it and we will support. We have a
Thank you.
solution.
I'm going to look for every one of you online and
Yes.
send you friend requests if you happen
Yes.
to be on Facebook or Instagram or any of those places, so that we can keep in touch.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. And everything else is going to be channeled through the desk of Chief Jasper Johnson for the next
Yes.
meeting. After the summit,
Yes.
we have a meeting next week and we're going to roll something. We have a plan already in place. Thank you so much. And
Thank you.
now, thank you so much. All the best. We give her kisses and hugs. She's the queen of Nollywood. Thank you so
All right.
much, Shem.
Thank you.
All
Thank
right,
you.
bye-bye. All the best. And now, the next on the program is Leroy Butler from Nassau, Bahamas. Can we have him on stage? Here he is, and we're going to have an, interactive interview together. Let me just focus on your spot, and we can quickly do this in 15 minutes. Leroy, you have been recently in the United States. You went to Florida and you attended the Afro Film Festival. Please share the experience with us. We know you are a singer, songwriter, designer, a dancer, entertainer, DJ. You do it all. Before you
Yes.
tell us how you do it all, how was the experience there?
Well, attending the film festival in Orlando, it was awesome. I must say that it was all God's plan. They say planning and preparation is key, and always be ready. And I've learned that during my years of being an entertainer and being in this industry, you always have to be ready. And it just so happened that I heard about it and I reached out to the coordinator, and he literally accepted, but he said that they weren't accepting anyone out of the US. So it just so happened that I was the only, I guess, Caribbean person from the Caribbean on the ticket of the Orlando Film Festival, and he told me to send two of my tracks, and it just so happened that I already had some songs already finished, so I sent him three tracks instead of two, and he listened to them in about 15 to 20 minutes. He called back and he was like, "Hey, my team heard it. Listen, we need you over. We love the songs." And it was something that I had to invest in because they weren't paying for anything. It was basically an open forum to say, hey, if you wanted to be a part of this, then make that step. So I always wanted to have a lot to do with film and music, and of course I had to take that step, that leap of faith to pay for my way to get over, pay for my plane ticket, pay for my hotel, pay for my car, and of course I took my family along. They were a good support, and I went over and listen. I'm talking about I only got to perform one song, but through that one song, that opened up so many doors for me to be able to be known as a solo artist now, coming out of the band Bahaman, who let the dogs out. um, I was able to be recognized as a single entity, as a single, as a solo artist. So the film festival, actually, the music part of it, the music part of it, this was their first time having it, being a part of the film festival itself. They decided to just ask artists, up and coming artists, or any artists, to come out and just perform so that they would be seen and heard. I guess so that if someone that is doing a movie, they might like a track that you did, or maybe want you to go and write a song. So for their movies or whatever. So that experience to me, it was crazy. It was awesome. Um, then out of the blue, I got accepted or asked to speak to this, the African Film Festival. So all I can say is it's only God. I'm looking to have my music and whatever else, my voice be on many movies coming up and coming. So it was crazy. The film festival in Orlando, I've been invited back again, God spare life, for next year. So I'm looking forward to next year for more exciting things happening. And by then, hopefully, you never know, I might have a song on a movie soundtrack or something. So yeah, that's how that trip went. It was awesome.
Wow, this is so encouraging. And now it's encouraging for musicians when musicians know that they have to work hard to be
Yeah.
on them to for their music to be taken to the movies. And how long did it take you to be in that kind of industry just as a musician?
Hmm.
We're preparing
Wow.
people to get into that space.
I have I have been into entertainment, not just music, but entertainment. I'm not just a singer. I'm an entertainer. For people that know me, and for my new fans and friends that would get to know me, I'm not just a singer, but I'm an entertainer. Um, like I said, I'm known for my dancing, my singing, my limbo dancing, my fire dancing, my DJ skills, my hosting. Um, I'm known around the world for basically everything. So um, it was years of planning and preparation. That's a key for me. I believe in planning and preparation. Once you plan and prepare, it gets you ready for what you need to do and what you need to become. Because um, being an entertainer, being an entertainer, this was all my life. I've been preparing for this all my life. So I would encourage any up and coming entertainer, or anyone that wants their sound or music on a movie soundtrack or whatever else is the case. It's all about getting your product to um that standard of movie qualifications. Like the lady said, like Netflix, they ask for a certain video type. The quality has to be 4K or whatever. Same thing with the music. The radio stations want a certain quality, a certain look, or a certain image. So with you artists that is out there, take your craft very seriously, especially if you want to see yourself on movie soundtracks or strips or whatever else is the case. You have to work on your craft. You have to make sure that your music is top quality. You have to make sure that your music makes sense as well. Don't just put anything out there, especially for the movies. You know, a lot of movies look for good quality music, especially if your music has good quality. So for me, I've been doing this all of my life, and once I was with Bahaman, I was able to do many music soundtracks. Two of them that you guys maybe know is Garfield the movie. That was my first soundtrack and my first song that I wrote internationally. And then the second one was from the spin-off American Pie. We did a soundtrack called Summertime Girls for American Wedding. But it was many other soundtracks that I've written on internationally that got my name there with just being I guess a songwriter as well as doing movie soundtracks. So take pride in what you're doing. That's number one, whatever you're doing. And that's basically for everyone. That's for artisans, that's for designers, that's for singers, that's for dancers, whatever you do, make sure I put the time and the effort into your work. Like with my songs now, all of my songs, I try and make my songs what I call worldly songs, like world music that is able to play for anyone or anything or anywhere. So, you know, time, effort, dedication, and just go for what you believe in. So that is what I would encourage anyone, especially on the music side of it. If you're looking to get yourself out there, keep on pushing, especially short, network. Always network. Be around people that has the same mindset as you do. You know, people that love music, like these wonderful panels that my guest that is on this screen today. We all have something in common. We all believe in one thing, and that's movies and entertainment and stuff. So surround yourself with the right set of people, push your music, and make sure that you have a good image, your sound is right, and your quality is awesome.
Wow, that's awesome. Just let's listen to just a little bit of, you know, this kind of quality and the song. And this is how we're preparing people, because people always complain there are no opportunities.
Yes.
We've got to show some love to the good people we meet. No matter where we go, we have to walk in love and unity. Be kind, my brothers. Show love, my sisters. Let's walk hand in hand. One love, together we stand. Love is what we need right now. Love is what we need right now. Love is what we need right now.
You see, that's the music that took him
Yes.
to that stage. That's the beauty of being prepared and crafting your art to the ultimate best. And thanks, you know, for that. Is there anyone on the platform who has a question for Leroy? Quickly before he moves, because he's also getting out of the stage quick. Anyone with a question, I will unmute everybody. And then, because this is the information, the people in any industry lack information of how to be prepared. Yes, Kelly.
Yeah, I was going to ask Leroy. First off, great work. Now, in terms of your music, is there a place that you would recommend artists to upload their stuff? Do you use like Spotify? Like, how do you promote your stuff outside? And what platforms would you recommend for artists?
Well, with me, how I promote my music and stuff, right now, I had to learn, basically, it's a lot of different entities and markets that you could promote your music from right now. like finding a distribution company like CD Baby, um, Amos. That's just to name a few, but like apps, like there are like hundreds of different apps. I would say uh go ahead and like read up on whichever app that you find and whatever feels comfortable for what you're doing. Go ahead and use it. But like with me, when I started out with SoundCloud. YouTube was basically the number one. Facebook. Right now there are so many other stage platforms like TikTok and Twitter. It's like whatever market or doorway you can find open that your music can get out there, like just put it out there. But make sure firstly that your music is always copywritten, it's always secure, because like with me, I was anxious at one point that all I did was I put music out there, and it almost came to one point that well, actually not one came to almost, it did come to one point that I had a song out there but not knowing the market. I wasn't getting my royalties on what I was worth. So it's always good to make sure that your stuff is marketed properly, it's licensed properly. But like you asked, it's a million and one different platforms that you could get your music heard on. So it's just up to you to do the research. So that's why I also say planning and preparation as well. If this is something that you believe in, listen, you have to put the work into it. Some people believe that, okay, I put a song on a hit out there, okay, that's it, I'm going to make it. No, you have to put that work into it. And where I am right now, this came from years of just waiting and disappointment. So there's a million and one platforms. Just go out there and search it, man. Google it, find out which distribution would do good for you and whatever. So no one would have an excuse.
Wow, thank you so much. Thanks, Kelly, for that question. That was so profound, because people always say they lack information and the right direction. So thank you so much. What is it that you are preparing now for the next invite? We know you have the next invite on the Afro film market. So you learned from the previous one. What is it that you need to beef up now to the next level?
Well, for me to beef it up right now, I know that like I said, it's just getting the right more. I would say more. It would be getting more products out there, more things for people to hear and to see. More people, like with the music, they know that I'm a musician, so they're expecting music. So like right now, I'm in the process of dropping an album on the 1st of January. So that's going to be my first album. And I'm doing like six to eight songs, and I'm really trying to push that as much as I can. And I want to see one or two of those stuff on some movies or commercials or ads or whatever. So the thing that I'm doing right now is beefing that up. I want to see. I'm trying to create more content. I want to create more content so that people will hear more of me as a solo artist. Less than, okay, the guy from Who Let the Dogs Out. Yeah, that's all good, fine and dandy. That was the past. Okay, I've learned from that experience, and that's what I'm taking to push me even further. So to beef it up for next year and the years to come, it's just pushing more content, getting more stuff out there, so that people would hear more of me and hear what I'm capable of.
Wow, thank you so much, Leroy. So it means as we talk about challenges and opportunities, they are there, but people need to work on their skill all the time. Just before you leave, can you do that one thing, that question that people are waiting for right now? And then we because you're about to leave us. And now people are like, okay, what is this?
No problem, no problem, no
Oh,
problem, no
thank
problem.
you. Thank you. All right. The
Um,
stage is yours.
but I just want everyone to know that, follow your dreams, whatever we doing. Just a word of encouragement for all of us. I hope that we all would become friends, network more, and let's make this thing happen with the film, with the music, with the art, with everything, because we are one body but different parts, and that's the only way the body would be able to work. I'm sorry. I always like to give nuggets and cut words of encouragement because I have to encourage myself each day. So let's spread the love. Let's keep on pushing. Let's network. So I'm looking to see some friend requests from you guys. I'll do the same, but let's stay united, man. Okay. My favorite saying is unity is strength. And that's the only way we'll be able to do this. But of course, right now, the famous question. Who let the dogs out? Who let the dogs out? Who let the dogs out? I love you guys, man.
We love you. We love you, Leroy. You shook the world. Thank you. Thank you so much for that performance. That was lovely. That shook the world. It's still happening, actually. So thank you so much. We heard from Leroy Butler all the way from Nassau, Bahamas. And that's the way to go. Musicians, do it. Beef it up. And Kelly asked a very wonderful question. After doing it, where do you market your music? So you heard his answer and go and do it. So thank you so much, Leroy. It was wonderful to have you. If you can
Thank
come
you.
back in the last hour, it will be good, but we understand you
No
in
problem.
another program. Wonderful.
No
Thank
problem.
you. I
Blessings.
love that from Bahamas. No problem. No problem. No problem all the time. It's just okay.
No
Good.
problem.
Thank
No
Thank
problem.
you. Thank you, no problem.
All right.
Next on stage, we'll be having Kelly Schwaze. Kelly is going to share with us his expertise. He's in the film industry and has been leading for quite some time. Let me ask him to share with us who he is and what has he been doing in this industry. Thank you so much. Over to you, Kelly. The virtual stage is yours.
Well, first off, thank you for having me. I've been looking forward to this and to be able to connect with people all over the world. It's pretty cool. So thank you. And of course, a little bit about me. My name is Kelly Schwartz. I'm a filmmaker. I write, I direct, I produce content, and my films can be seen on various platforms across the world. And it's been my movies have been dubbed in dozens of different languages. And I'm sure I even have some content that streams or plays in markets that are in the African market. So it's always exciting to network and meet people, especially in different economies, because I'm in a city called Las Vegas. So our studio is called the Indie Film Factory. We've been around for about 12 years, give or take, and we produce movies based here in Las Vegas. And we're about less than about 4 hours from Los Angeles, and the thing about Las Vegas is very similar in terms of the African film market, or let's say Nigeria, where the economics are somewhat different than what you would expect in Hollywood. And the way I look at it is you have two different types of industries. You have Hollywood, and then you have an independent film industry. And the independent film industry is really expanding, and that's been expanding with globalization and as well as video on demand. More and more filmmakers have access to the internet, and it's theoretical that you could produce a short film or a feature film and then distribute it yourself via YouTube or some of these other platforms. And the question always goes down to how do you monetize your film projects? And that's something that I've taken a lot of steps to educate about it. I write books about this topic, and for me, it boils down to marketing. It really boils down to understanding who your audience is and really just being able to address that audience and figure out a way to market to them in an effective way. And of course, networking and building relationships with distributors are huge. I think our first guest, she had talked about the idea of having these gatekeepers, these people that you have to kind of go through in order for you to get your films out into the film market. Well, that's true here in the United States as well. I mean, we have a distributor that puts our film out all over the world, but it wasn't always like that. And for us to have that relationship, it took many, many years to develop those relationships with our distributors. So there is going to be some give and take. And the reason why it's set up that way is because there is some level of hierarchy and filtration that streamers like Netflix, Amazon, Hulu, all these different platforms have in place. So that way they can kind of quality control the kind of content that comes in. So it's important for you to know what those benchmarks are and be able to network with those distributors and build those relationships. Aside from that, I mean, I'm open for questions. I didn't really have a whole lecture planned today, but I'm happy to answer questions and talk through anything that people out there have.
Thank you so much, Kelly. You know exactly, you just used the same term that I wrote down when Shen was discussing, that there are people in high places who block. So I wrote it down, gatekeepers. Now we know in all industries, there is always this issue of gatekeepers. And the bribery is always called the white envelope. And other people also, affirm it, that, you have to say thank you when someone has helped you. In this industry, you will say thank you how many levels till you get to the right person. And how do you play by the rules of the industry? Because we hear there are challenges and there are opportunities. So we want to move from challenges. That is the aim of the summit. Even if they are still there, but our focus is to identify them, see that, okay, there's a gatekeeper here. Now, how do we move from the gatekeepers without them blocking our way to the opportunities? Any way that you would think of?
Yes. I mean, I think the first thing it starts with, it always takes that one person to make it, right? So if you have somebody in a network or a community that actually is elevating, that individual has enormous power to be able to implement change. One of the biggest things that filmmakers and producers like myself, we look for is incentives, reasons for filming in different places, whether it be in Las Vegas or LA or Atlanta, Georgia, here in the United States. There's a lot of different things that we always are looking for. And you want to be able to expand on those opportunities through the market to let people know that those things are there. And I think once people start going to the community and using those resources, it changes the dynamics of things. Now, obviously, I can't speak to the political situation in places like Nigeria and in terms of the so-called gatekeepers. But what I can say is that if the community can support a filmmaker and that filmmaker can resonate to a level of international stability, I think that person is able to bring some of that change along with it. And what's great about it is we live in an era that has the internet, and one of the largest film festivals in the world is happening 24 hours a day, and it's on YouTube. And I think realistically, that's a good place to start. I think it's not the end all be all, obviously, but I think it's about being consistent. It's about creating really good content that is story driven and being able to show stakeholders outside of the community that there's potential there, there's talent there. And I think that's the best step forward. And then ultimately, in terms of geopolitical conversation, I think it's important that you really push the envelope to have transparency, to show the potential to any government body that there's potential for growth in this industry. I mean, just a few weeks ago, I sat with a governor of Nevada, and we talked about the idea of how to bring economic stimulus through tax incentives into our state. And that's a huge component. So these leaders, they see the value in filmmaking, and they see the value of being able to transform industries and bring new business and economy into communities. But I think you have to continuously remind them. And I think by doing that, I think you come at it from a couple different aspects that I think will create that change. But change doesn't happen overnight, and it could take decades in some cases to implement that. But a good place to start is start promoting within.
Absolutely. Again, you touch on a very, important aspect of the mindset. I wrote it down again here, because when we do this, you need to workshop the people, the gatekeepers, and others in high places, all the players, We can't just walk in without the change. Change comes before any other project is taking place. And the strategies that you have to use, there's also a mindset, again, in this industry, that from the side of the players, the artists, and the actors, most of the time they expect to be paid for in everything, paid for, being flown to the area. You heard when Leroy was sharing that he invested, he paid everything out of his own pocket for all that project. And now people expect to be paid for, just same as other speakers when they were invited here, they expected that, and then they didn't come on board. How do we break through from that mindset? Or is it a sifting to see these are the cream of the top, go with them, leave those behind? How would you address that?
Well, it's a hard conversation because I know a lot of fabulous speakers that get paid lots of money to do what they do, and they travel all over the world doing these lectures. So I think there is some value to expanding on that. Obviously, with a film festival and network marketing thing that we're talking about here, it's in its infancy. It's a brand new organization. So I think over time, your goal should ultimately to be able to recruit those speakers, because if you could have a powerhouse filmmaker from Hollywood who's a studio director who's done some big films for the studio, that would add value and weight to the conversation. And at the end of the day, it would bring pressure to the stakeholders in these countries to do something about it. For example, the idea of a movie star going to a region that's affected by a hurricane or a typhoon or some kind of an earthquake is so profound. And so, using celebrity, using the power of prestige in some ways has its benefits as well. But at the early onset stage, I think it's about just focusing on the organizational quality of the messaging that you're trying to provide to the people, and then grow from there. Start small, grow. I look at myself now, I can't believe how far I've gotten in my career. And if you would have said to me 25 years ago when I first started that I'd be having opportunities that I have these days, it's profound. But nobody ever really opened those doors for me. I had to kind of open my own doors. And what I realized is eventually, once you get moving, then that's when everybody wants to get involved. Nobody wants to help you when you're not doing anything. And so I think it's about creating movement. I always make the analogy, nobody wants to get on the train until the train is moving. And once you get the train moving, then everybody's like, let's do this, let's go. And I think that's kind of what you have to do at a film festival level, on a community filmmaking level. You have to get stuff moving, and it's got to feel and get people's attention. It's got to look big and get people's attention.
Wow, that's awesome. And thank you for bringing that balance. Because also, when people qualified for something, they should also be compensated for what they qualify for. So thank you for bringing that balance, that it goes with stages. It's a stage of the infancy, and people who the mindset that is there, not that they don't qualify for that, but they see the value add from here going forward. So to come together and bring in that value, and knowing that it will, bring the rewards on the way, and all will be rewarded accordingly. That's a beautiful, way and a mindset of starting something and going forward with it. Thank you so much. That was Kelly Schwartz, and he's a filmmaker. And just share with us, when you started, how did you start? I think that's important as well. We are bringing in, the economy, how we see the growth and where you are right now. How did you start, and just shoot to where you are right now?
Well, I started off like a lot of independent filmmakers. I had an idea. I wanted to make a film, but I had absolutely no money. And I remember at the time I went to a store here in my town, and I used a store credit card to buy a camera. And at that time, it might as well have been $1 million because I didn't have the money to really pay for it. But I knew that was the first step. I wasn't going to be able to find a cameraman to believe in me enough to shoot my film. I just had to get going. So once I got the camera, then I said, okay, I've got the camera. And the same thing with like learning how to edit. Nobody was going to just edit my movies. I couldn't afford to pay anybody. So I had to learn how to do those things. And over time, little by little, incremental, I was able to build a team of people that seen the value in what I was doing. And I mean, now I don't even touch a camera. I mean, half the time I'm working on the shot list with the director of photography, but I don't touch the camera. There's people that handle that now. But when I look back at where I started, I just had to create movement, and it can be overwhelming. If you look at this whole thing of like a career, you say, where do I start? Well, you just have to do incremental little steps. First step is write down that idea. Second step, write that script. Third step, look at how do you get a camera? Could you shoot it with your iPhone or a cell phone or something like that? What could you do to get that first thing done? And just incrementally over time. And then don't give up. Don't give up. This is a lifestyle more than it's a career. And if you get into it to say, I'm going to make lots of money and drive around in the limousine, you're going to probably have some heartache. There's a lot of other career paths you could choose to do that. So if you want to be a filmmaker and entertainer, you're there for the long haul. And it takes, in some cases, a lifetime. I look at some of the awards that I have and things around me, and I say it took me years and decades to get to that place. So yeah, just don't give up, but do incremental steps to elevate.
Wow, thank you. Thank you so much. That is so great and encouragement. And now just share with us, as we close down just your session only, please. You're not moving away because we're going to have a round table and open discussion. What would you say right now in this time in the economy is a challenge, one of the greatest challenges, and then one of the greatest opportunities?
Well, I would say the biggest challenge right now is that there's so many people coming into the market. But the opportunity is that technology is favoring creativity. Just the other day, I read something about artificial intelligence being able to create video. And now that sounds a lot of scary. And some of my colleagues are saying, it's the end, robots are going to start doing this for us. But if you think about it, you think about the potential of technology and what it can do, it's amazing. And, the idea of giving anybody the power who has an idea to be able to transform that into some kind of tangible expression is pretty cool. It's pretty cool. So I think I don't get stressed out about that. But I would say the biggest challenge right now is that there's going to be a lot of people that are trying to get into this space. And it's really about being consistent and focusing on quality. Like Leroy was talking about earlier, it's about how it sounds. When you make a film and you're trying to get it out there, it has to look and sound like a real film. It has to look like cinema. It has to sound like cinema. It can't look independent. It can't sound independent. And I think that's the goal. That should be the goal of every filmmaker, to get to that level. But I think you can do that. You can separate yourself from the herd by just focusing on being consistent and doing quality stuff. But use the technology to your advantage. It's growing pretty fast, and I'm excited about it.
Wow, very exciting times. And absolutely, people need to be workshopped when there's going to be change. So the fourth industrial revolution, it completely changed the infrastructure of business. And now everything is online. And now the other thing would be like what we would call amateurs. Everyone can fiddle it and do it online, And also people believe that they also need an opportunity, time to do something as well as creatives. And very interesting of the artificial intelligence, because it is absolutely everywhere in every industry. And also it is good for every industry because it's a gatekeeper and the security online for all of us. Thank you so much, Kelly. That was profound. And thank you for sharing that. We look forward to get to the level of those awards with hard work earned by everyone who puts the weight and the hard work on it in the film industry. And now let's take a break. We have a beautiful performance by one of our legends who has also said, I will take part in this as well, and bring in my music. He's John Michael Ferrari, He's in the USA and he's the member of the eZWay network family. So when he heard about the summit, he said, I will participate in my own way. There we go.
There's an ocean that loves a potion that heals the man anytime we cry. And it can flow right through you and lift you up and touch the sky. Look and make you happy, oh yeah. Look and heal your pride. So listen people, what I say. Let's come together and find a way. With harmony, standing head in hand. Let's come together like a rock and roll band. Just look around. Tell me what you see. Can we help each other? All those in need. Take the dark and make it bright. There's a love right here inside. Look and make you happy, oh yeah. Look and heal your pride. So listen people, what I say. Let's come together and find a way. With harmony, standing hand in hand. Let's come together like a rock and roll band. I want a world where love is gold. People dancing young and old. I'll sing it out, I'll sing it strong. Love's a coming to every lonely town. Ah, there's an answer. Let love be the dancer that keeps the music playing in our hearts. Ever wonder what you will find? Someone loving, someone kind. Look and make us happy, oh yeah. Look and heal all pride. So listen people, what I say. Let's come together and find a way. With harmony, standing hand in hand. Let's come together, let's come together. Let's come together like a rock and roll band. Yay, all right.
Wow, yes, yes, yes. That was beautiful, and his great heart, and to say, I will support this virtual summit in any way I can. And he did that performance for us to be live. Wow, Africa, you are on the globe. Thank you, John Michael Ferrari. And thanks to Pepper J, the manager, because Pepper is, she's on her toes and did everything for us. Thank you. And thanks, eZWay family, because it's because of our networks with eZWay family. Eric Zuley, you rock. Thank you. Next on stage, we're going to have Janet Lopez. Janet, wow, wonderful. Thank you. I'm going to bring you in. You're going to greet the viewers, and we hit the stage together. Wonderful. She is the actor. She is also, where's your, I want to bring her in as solo. She's the actor. She's the film producer. She's the director as well. and she's the host of a podcast. Hi, Janet, how are you?
Hi, everybody. I am great. I'm so happy to be here.
We're so happy. Thank you so much for saying yes to this invitation. And tell us about your journey. Who
Yes.
is Janet Lopez in the film industry?
So, yeah, I'm an
She's muted. Okay. Just a second. Just a second. I don't know why you just it just muted you. Yes, it just
okay.
muted you. Yes. Okay. Start
Okay.
again. Who is Janet Lopez in the film industry?
Yes, I'm primarily an actor, but as you know, here in Hollywood, you sometimes just wear many hats. And so I
Yeah.
started working behind the scenes, and I started producing, doing production management, first ADing. I did direct a documentary as well. And yeah, so I've done almost everything at this point. I was listening to our previous speaker, and same thing, sometimes you have to learn yourself, like he started learning how to edit, he started learning how to use the camera, all that. And the same thing, I think as an actor, it's really important for us to, not all actors do this, but to get behind the camera and learn everything. Because I did that for the fact that, for me at least, it was not just helping others, but also getting to know where you are and where you start as an actor. Because before I worked behind the scenes, I thought everything was about the actor. Everything was that moment when the actor gets on stage. And yes, that's part of it, but there's a lot of work that goes on for months sometimes prior to the actor even being on stage that a lot of people don't realize. A lot of film film crew and the behind the scenes people and everybody above the line or below the line, all these people are involved. But sometimes a lot of people don't give the credit to the film crew, and they do a lot of work before the actor gets on stage. And as an actor, I know we get a lot of the credit.
Wow. And it's not only about you.
Yes.
It's about the team. And you put it right, because I think the teamwork should be acknowledged. Now, in this teamwork, behind scenes, there are things that we don't know that jolt and boost the economy. Things like budgeting. How do you start with the budgeting for the film industry? We didn't touch on that with the previous speakers, but I know you have done it. How do you do that?
Yes, so I wanted to. So there is a lower budget films, and then there's the higher budget films. And here, we have a union. So there's a non-union and a union. So if you are in the union, which is like they have a group of people that are watching out for all the actors and all the filmmakers and all that, and they come up with budgets. So the lowest budget, then you have like a middle budget, and then a high budget. And then the lower budget, you guys are gonna be shocked if you don't know this, but it is 300,000 now and below. So if your film is within that budget, like 300,000 or below, you are considered like really low, like the ultra lowest of the lowest. And so for a lot of people, 300,000 is a lot. You can make a film, you can make several films, but then for the higher budget, that's nothing. That's nothing. You can't, that's probably what you're paying your actor, or you know what I mean, your celebrity or something like that, or for location. So it really depends on your budget and what you can do with that budget. Again, sometimes you're doing a film with no budget, like zero. You're not even at the 300,000 or the 100,000 level. You're at zero. And so I think it makes a difference. It does. There are things that you need in a film that are must-haves, and stuff like that. So if you are at that lower budget, you need to know how to work on that budget. And I think for me, it's working. So after you have everything put together, like your idea, and you have like a script, that's when you do your budget. You can't really do, you can guess on your budget, but it's better when you have a script, because that's when you know how many locations you have, what props, everything that you have going on and within your script, and then you could break it down from there. And there's people that specialize in that. We are the line producers, but if you're gonna do it yourself, then you're gonna have to know what you're writing. I think for me, it's the biggest tip for everybody out there is that if you don't have a budget or if it's really low, don't write a script that has, or don't if your idea, think about an idea, but also think about a simple idea, because if you think of a lot of people, guess what? You're gonna have to pay a lot of people, or you're gonna have to accommodate all these people. You're talking about like extras. You're gonna have to have like 50 extras. You're thinking, if I write a script, if I think of an idea and I think of a party, guess what? I have to accommodate 50 people, and I have to come up with trying to find these 50 people and all this stuff, right? And so that's going to grow your budget. So you're going to go from like a lower budget to a higher budget right there and then, just by thinking of like a party in your scene. The same thing goes with like location. You don't want to, if you don't have any money, well, don't think of all these locations if you don't have access to these locations. If they're not your friends, you start small. So if you have a house, guess what? You can write your story around that house. If you have a friend that owns a restaurant, you can write that story around that person, and so forth. So think about the access that you have right now and write your story around that versus just making up a story and not thinking about your locations. I think that's one biggest thing is locations and people. How many people are in this story? And what access do you have right now, as if you're starting really low? Now, obviously, if you have a higher budget, we're talking about millions of dollars. That's a whole different story. You don't have to worry about all that. Here in the States, is different because we have to get permits for everything. So that costs money. You have to get permits if you want to film at the park, if you want to film in the streets. I just had my neighborhood, my whole neighborhood got, like, we couldn't park anywhere because somebody decided to film here right here where I live. And so they shut down the whole street. They got permission from the city to do that. So we got a notification saying, hey, we're going to be filming here. You can't park here. Like, I live here. I can't park here. I can't have any guests or anything like that. So they shut us down. That's what happens. You pay, and they pay for that. They pay to film here. So that's what happens when it comes to budget, is that you have to come up with, you kind of like have to be a little smart about it and try to figure out, where can I film? And do I have, without, basically it's hard here in California. A lot of times we have to get permits and stuff like that. Now, one of the things I recommend for Africa, obviously you guys have like 52 countries, so many
54?
languages. Oh, 54, sorry.
Countries? Yes.
54 countries, so many languages in each country, so many places, so many different cultures. I think one thing for Africa is, for me at least, is to think like, oh my gosh, if you guys don't have to do permits, that's a big plus. That's going to save you on the money. And again, if you could think of locations where you don't need permits, do that instead. Go that route. And so that's a plus for you guys. And obviously, if you don't have a union like we do, that's kind of a good thing in a way, in a sense, for the filmmakers, because that means that you don't have to worry about certain budgets that you might have to fit in order to start your film. For us, we have to file a lot of paperwork. There's a lot of money that you have to pay if you're going to go that route. Now, there is another way that you can do it, is without that. Without the union, and in that case you would get actors that are not part of that, and you have to outsource. You know what I mean? You have to outsource and look for actors and stuff like that. For me, I think regardless of where you live, especially if you have communities, my suggestion for anybody is to have theaters, local theaters. If you don't have any, start one. That's where I started as an actor. I thought that was a great opportunity for me. And actually my family, younger family of mine, kids, started at the same place where I start. Like today, they're starting there now. And so it's really cool to see where I started as a teenager to all of a sudden see my other like my teens like start as well. So I just want to say that if you it's a business too. What you do is you get a lot of actors get together, get a lot of people in your community, a lot of kids, a lot of teens, have them do theater work. And if you want to own your own theater in your local community and start it, do it, because then you charge people to come and watch the show.
Oh, wow, that's it. That's beautiful. But now that is also connected, Janet, into casting.
Yeah.
What is this, the term casting? And from there, what does it mean? Does it affect your budget, the way you do your casting as well for your characters?
Yes. So here, we have casting as obviously when you're looking for actors, that's what we call it. We call it casting. And yes, it does affect your budget. So if you have a bigger budget, you can afford to hire people. Everything is, the budget really has to do with hiring people. Can you actually hire people to help you create this film? And the same thing goes with looking for actors. If you don't have any money, you're going to have to do it yourself. But if you have the money, you can hire somebody to do it. And then that point you're paying them and they do all the outsourcing and stuff like that. And depending on who you want, they can find you who that person. Obviously, if you're going to have a higher budget, you're going to be able to get celebrities and higher paying celebrities and stuff like that. If you're doing it yourself, you're going to have to outsource. And that's why I talk about local theaters. I think every country should have a bunch of theaters, because that's where it would be the easiest way to find an actor. You just go to the theater and you watch them perform, and you can see their performance live, and then you can choose who you want. A lot of people do that here. And I think that's the best way locally. For me, I think it's best if you're whatever you are, if you're an actor, crew member, whatever you are, to start locally, in your local community, and then outsource from there. The reason why is because you're closer. You don't have to drive far away. You don't have to travel. You don't have to pay for plane tickets and all that. You start locally. That's the best thing. Obviously, if you guys don't have a theater in your local community, you can even start one, or find people to start one, or whatnot. Get it started. Get your community started in the industry.
And Janet, you have an experience as a minority woman in the film industry. What were your experiences so you can help other women as we're working on, boosting our economy? What were the challenges for women in this particular industry, and what are the opportunities?
Yeah. Okay, so I'm in the United States, so I'm a minority here, and I get typecast a lot in the beginning, especially. What that means is that they were hiring me based on what they thought I can be, or they limit me. Some people, they limit you to what they think you are and what you can do. So, for example, I would get hired as an actor just as a maid, as an immigrant crossing the border. So I don't have an accent, so I had to practice my accent to have a Mexican accent. And so that's kind of the challenges that were there, was that I was limited to these roles that was just like what I was, what they think I was, and what I can be only. I guess there's a cons for that, is that they don't see you outside of what you look like what your appearance is or what they think you are. But the plus about that is that they can't hire a white person as an immigrant. They can't hire, you know what I mean? There's certain things that they can't hire you for, because they can't fit that mold that you are, like an immigrant. Certain people can't fit the mold of an immigrant. So that could be a plus, in the sense that if you have that role, you might be the only one that can fill that role, or you might be one of the few people that can fill that role. That's the pros. Obviously, the cons is that they're not seeing you outside of what you can be. minorities can be doctors, they can be lawyers. I mean, I've seen everybody here where I live. The majority of people that I deal with are actually minorities. My doctor is a minority. He's a Black African American. He's my doctor. You know what I mean? But they don't. Sometimes you narrow that down. I think one of the important things in filmmaking and anywhere in Africa is for us to really not put people in a box. You know what I mean? Like, think about, because that person might bring something into that room. So when you're looking for actors and you see that person might bring something that you might not have thought of. They might do something that you're like, whoa, I wasn't thinking that this character was going to be like that, but you know what? I kind of like this. I like what you're doing here. And you know what? I'm going to hire you because of that. And why not? So you don't, and a lot of times that's what happens when you write a script. You're writing it for a certain person, but then somebody else comes in and boom. You know, they were auditioning and they wanted a tall, lanky girl, like a woman that was tall and lanky. For some reason, I got selected for that. I don't know what my agent must have submitted something like that. And all of a sudden, when I looked at it, I was thinking, oh my gosh, I'm the opposite of that. And Kat knows I'm not tall, like I'm not 5'11" or something like that. I'm really short. You know, I'm only like 5'3". And so I'm thinking, and I'm curvy, you know. And so I'm thinking, I don't know why they picked me for this, but I showed up. And that's when I realized it doesn't matter what they thought the person was supposed to look like. The fact that my agent submitted me because I fit the personality and the character and all the other stuff, just not the height and the body type. But for some reason I got selected. And so, you know, you never know who's going to surprise you. Here comes this small package and you're like, oh shoot, that person could be it, you know. Like, you know, you never know. So I definitely say for all the filmmakers out there to just have an open mind when it comes to looks and ethnicity, because you never know. That person might just bring it.
Wow. Lovely. Let's get to that context again. We once discussed a co-production with Africa. And what would be some ways that we can implement film and casting in Africa?
Yeah, you know, like I said, I believe in starting in your own community, because then you're growing your community. You know, because if we're outsourcing, we're not growing our local community. I started in my local community because that was the best thing to do. Like I said, you don't have to travel. You don't have to do. I started there. And what I noticed is that we all of us, like all the entertainment people, we had a radio host, we had the actor, me, we had all these other people, host, director, and everybody. But we all came together as a community to create commercials, TV shows, and stuff like that. So I'd say start where you are and find the people that are interested in. And if you don't know anybody that is, or if you don't know anybody in the industry, you start it. You start your community. You start working out, and then you guys come together and you guys kind of work it out and do it. You have to find people that are passionate and people that are willing to do that. People who want to create something. There's a lot of people that yearn to create. There's a lot of stories. Everybody has a story, and no matter where you live, everybody has a story to tell. And we got to create around and so forth. We just got to be careful to who we trust and who we come together with, because if it's money involved, I just got to say, make sure that you know this person for reals and they're not, you know what I mean? Because that might be a little tricky. But let's just say there is no money involved and you have zero budget and you're just trying to work with people in a capacity that you're trying to just get something started. Because in the beginning, there might not be no money coming in. That's, we had our speaker say, the other speaker, and I agree, I second that, is that Kelly was saying, in the beginning, you're the one investing. In the beginning, you're going to invest time, you're going to invest effort and money. And he took 25 years to get where he's at. So you got to think about that. If you're not really in it for the long haul, I'm going to tell you, as an actor, as a producer and all this stuff, is you got to have tough skin. and you got to be like really strong, and you got to be able to be really in it for years and years before you actually see like something. However, I don't want to discourage people. So with all that being said, like I said, it's always best to start locally. That's why I say start a theater. If anybody wants to do that, film festivals, so forth, start something somewhere.
Yes. Now we have to start something somewhere together in Africa. So we will come into a way of focusing into the co-production between you guys. You've been there for a long time in it. Now also you have seen opportunities with us in Africa, starting with the space, that we have the space to do this. And we have the talent, we have stories to do this. Now it's for us to collaborate.
Yeah.
And yes, on what we're talking on now, especially on co-production with Africa, that is our interest and focus. That will also, boost our economy together. So
it's all about teamwork.
So you agree on the teamwork? Wow, thank you so
everything
much.
is teamwork. You kind of have to eventually have a team. You can start as an individual. You're going to need a team. You're going to need a sound person. You're going to need an AD. I do AD. You're going to need all these things. One of the things, there's two things that is really important when you're creating a film. And that, sorry, the camera's over there. I want to look at you guys. There's two things. So it's really important that your sound is good. That's a number one thing where you can tell the difference in budgets is the sound and the quality of your film. But if you don't have any of those two things, just practice, just do it. Like Kelly said, just do it. But your goal is to get there, to get good quality sound and to have good quality like camera. So that's really important because that you can tell, when somebody's like muffled, like, or like you could tell they're like far away or it sounds like, so that can kind of like when somebody's watching your movie, they're going to notice that. Oh, I think you're muted.
Sorry about that. I'm saying that's very important and key because that's the basic. So when we start, even when we talk about this budget and money, we need, those are the basic things that are most important in any set: the sound, the cameras that you are using so that people can enjoy and get into loving your movies. Now, before you finish your session, can we get into this area of women and the intimacy in the sets, in the scenes of movies? Yes.
Yes. So, as a woman myself and as an actor, I will say this. It's really important to have women in film because I know a lot of there's a lot of men in the industry here in the United States, mostly men actually. Very rarely do I have a woman director or like a woman. So I noticed there is a huge difference when there's a woman as a crew member, and that's a big difference. It gives a comfort level. It has that motherly. We have this like feeling of like your sister, your mom. Your this motherlyhood to it. And then the other thing is that you want to get a woman's perspective. If you are writing women characters in your film, and you're a male, you kind of have, you know what I mean? It's good to get a woman's perspective, a woman's feedback on that. And the other thing is intimacy. If there's a kiss or there's anything like that, or whatever scene you have that's intimate, it's really important that you consider having a woman within that room, a woman in that room, just to make people feel comfortable. And to talk to the actor, make sure that they're comfortable, that everything's okay. Ask the actor what they're comfortable with before you even get on set with them. That's really important. Ask them, are you okay with kissing? Are you okay with somebody touching your shoulder? What are you not okay with? That's definitely something you should know before you even hire this actor, or that you want to make sure that they're comfortable. What is their comfortable level? And you don't want to put somebody in a situation that's awkward because that's going to show on the screen. And you don't want to eliminate somebody just because they're not comfortable with that. I mean, especially if they're the actor you want to work around it if possible. And now here in the United States with the union, we have a situation now where we actually require, now you hire people. You have to hire somebody that is a coordinator specifically for the scenes that take place in sex and stuff like that. You have to hire somebody like that. So you hire that person comes in and they're there and they do that job. They go up to the woman, they go up to the male and they say, what are you comfortable with? What are you not comfortable with? Hey, we're going to use this in between you guys. We're going to cover this area. We're going to do this. And they're going to handle that for you. Obviously, if you don't have a budget, you're not going to do that. But you can have, like I said, I really highly recommend having a woman in the room, even if it's like your sister, your mom, whoever, like just somebody there that can maybe just kind of like, make people feel comfortable.
Wow. Oh, that's a great, insight and, how we can see everything from the outside. And you showed us the important things, as you are hands-on in the industry. Thank you so much, Janet. And we're going to have the discussions again, just the engagement after, two next speakers. Now we have on board, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Let's just appreciate her. That was powerful and profound. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
And now thanks a lot. Moving from that into women things in the film industry. We know people cannot just be there without fashion. And we have next Kat Oshman, who is the swimwear designer. And not just that, but she's a fashion designer and a change catalyst, the image consultant, who'll bring you to the right image to be seen or on screen. Let's get her on and she can tell us. Hi, Kat Oshman.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for
having me. How are you?
I'm great. I'm great.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Would you just share with us who is Kat Oshman, the designer and the change catalyst in this fashion industry, that we're taking this to the film industry together?
Yes, absolutely. Hi, everyone. I'm Kat Oshman out of California, USA, and I'm a swimwear designer, confidence catalyst, and then also one of the hosts for the Amen Show, which stands for Amplified Moms Empowerment Network. And I've been in the fashion industry for 25 years. I started when I was 5. No, I'm just kidding. So I just basically, learned. I started sewing at a really, really young age and followed my passion and, landed in swimwear. And it was one of the industries that I loved. And what else? I worked my way in ranks. And what I wanted to share with you guys is, we see a lot of different fashion from all over the globe, right? And so many people and industries define beauty based on the status quo. Well, what I love about the evolution of beauty is a lot more diversity, including different skin types, different heights, different sizes. And that is just the beginning. It's been around for several years, but to be honest, you see it a lot in fashion magazines and online, but I want to see it more actually in the film space. That's one of the biggest missing pieces is if you Google, the top actresses, you could see they're almost cloned, right? Like the beauty features, the eyes, the thin noses, the height. And that is one of the biggest changes that I would really like to see in the film industry is even just the basic thing is your nose. I want to see different types of noses being, the leading actress, different colors. And I think that is one of the missing pieces that we still need to address.
Wow.
Yeah.
And now when we talk about this, we know even in sets, Janet is still here, there is different, wardrobe in a different scene. And how do you see align that, with the scene? How are the choices coming in between to blend with what is going to happen and the dress code there?
Well, I think in the film industry, so Janet addressed a lot of different things that I actually want to circle back to. But if you have the budget, you normally hire a stylist, right? Like a fashion stylist who knows, what are the scenes, what is the era, and they go and shop for the cast members, the actors and the actresses, and to make sure that it's appropriate for the scene, for the time. Because the challenge with that is if you're filming something from 50 years ago or 100 years ago, you're not going down to your local mall and shopping what's off the rack, because that is very, very current and very recent. So that is some of the things that you have to keep in mind. And if you don't have the budget to hire a stylist, then do research. Google is free, right? So if you're part of the cast and the production crew, make sure you're doing your research as to what would somebody be wearing around this era, and country or location, and making sure that it pops or it doesn't, if it blends or whatnot. So that's some of the key things to look for when filming and creating your piece.
Oh yeah, this thing about creativity as well. How is it, about people who would be maybe very rigid? How do you align that to this in the film industry, the dressing, and then maybe the scene doesn't allow that someone would go according to their personal choices on how to dress?
Well, here's the thing, right? Like, you can't be rigid and be in the film industry, whether you're in front of the camera or behind the camera. You have to learn
Okay.
how to be fluid, how to flow. And if you are one of the actors, it doesn't matter what you like or don't like. It's a matter of going into that role. So the thing with acting is you have to learn to compartmentalize. Am I in the role or am I myself? Right? So in the fashion industry, I design women's swimwear for a lot of different ages, a lot of different markets. There's a lot of things that I designed that I would not wear. However, there's a lot of women out there that would wear it. That is why they become bestsellers. And in order to master that role, whether it's design or acting, like, you have to master your craft. You have to keep moving forward and do your research. Like, who am I addressing? Whether it's in fashion or creating a script or creating a film, like, who are you targeting? Because if you're all over the place, no one's going to come see it. Or if you're targeting a very small market, that's who you're going to bring. So that's how I
Wow.
would tie in fashion and film.
Now, is there still a scope of, more fashion and more creativity? What would be the challenges and the opportunities in the film industry, combining and aligning it into fashion design? Do you see maybe movies now these days, they need a certain kind of fashion, or it's okay, we can go back and even hire in those places where we can hire for for drama, for movies, or it's okay, we can create and also boost the economy with a new fashion?
I think there's so much opportunity. Okay, first of all, I love African textiles. Like, by far, it's one of my favorite things. If I can shop my favorite designers out of Africa, I would, all the time. So there's a lot of opportunity to collaborate, right? So exactly, right? You're wearing such a beautiful piece, Nisiki. Who are you wearing? Are you wearing a Tis Paloma design?
Actually, this one was made for me 30 years ago. 30
Okay,
years
it's
ago.
timeless.
And this is why African, regalias, they stay. and it's how you also maintain it. So
Mhm.
this, and it doesn't go out of fashion, this design. If I come to any event wearing this, everyone wants to take a picture. It's just that I can't stand. You'll see it one day.
I mean, it's
So
beautiful.
yeah, I
It's
agree with
beautiful.
you on the African, fabric. It stays. This is older than my daughter.
I love the African colors, the patterns, the textiles, the intricacies, the styling, the embroidery. Even just it's so dramatic. One of my favorite designers is Tongoro, and you guys can look that up. It's just so dramatic, so beautiful. And one of the celebrities that helped boost them and put them on the map was actually Beyonce. So she wore an amazing Tongoro dress in one of her videos. So if you can collaborate, right? Like if you are a designer in Africa, collaborate with filmmakers, collaborate with micro influencers so that you have to get outside of your market. So one of the challenges that I heard today was, we have all these resources, but this. Okay, but this, yes. However, what can you do outside of that box, right? So, for example, if you guys don't know, the Amen show, Nasiki and I actually host the show together. And how that happened was very, very organically. We met through the eZWay network and we supported each other socially. We kept saying, good job, sis. Love it, love it, love it. And then I was like, you know what, sis? It's time to meet. Let's meet virtually. We went live on a virtual meeting and I had no idea how to pronounce her name, because we were like meeting for the first time. I'm like, can you please tell me how do you pronounce your name? And Nasiki's last name is even harder to pronounce. That was all captured live. And it was such a beautiful, bonding experience that everybody got to experience. That I was like, you know what, sis, we just got to do this again and again. And we made a show out of it. And that's what needs to happen. So whatever you think, you can have tunnel vision on what success is, right? But you also have to be very open to opportunities, right? You have to be the opportunity. So in the film industry, whether you're an actor or a filmmaker in front of the camera, yes, you have to master your craft because no one's going to hire you if you're not good. You have to master your craft. But parallel to that, you have to work on everything else that's you, right? Master your confidence because your confidence is what's going to get you out the door. When the doors keep shutting in your face, the confidence goes hand in hand with courage. You're going to keep going, right? And the other thing is embracing your uniqueness. Stop looking at the defined, standards of beauty, the standards of blah, blah, blah. What is it that sets you apart and embracing your uniqueness? That's what I preach, diversity. I live diversity. There's the standards, there's the beauty standards, but I'm a change maker that's going to change those beauty standards with every little incremental thing that I do, right? So what is your uniqueness and embrace that? There's a saying that, in fashion, you can buy your way into fashion, right? To be fashionable. But you don't necessarily have to buy your way into style, right? Your style is what makes you unique. Look at Chief Jasper. Look at his outfit. I love that.
Yeah.
You don't see that walking around every single day. Look at Miss Yvonne. She's got her own style. Nisiki, you've got your own style. Janet. Every single person that's come on the stage has their own unique style. Do we all look the same? No. Right? And then also another thing to remember is you are not for everybody. People will say no to you. You are not for everybody. You have to remember that. And another thing the last thing that I want to add is keep your vibration high, keep your spirits up. And what is the lasting impression that you want people to have of you? When you go for a casting, when you go out to dinner, when you're out even shopping, just people remember that. And one of the things that I love to say is always treat people like you will meet them twice. So if you're rude, you have no idea who you're rude to that one day. Or if you're amazing, at a job, or at a dinner, you never know who that person is, and you want to leave that amazing lasting impression so that they remember you when you've all gone home, so that when they're in a meeting, they're looking for people to collaborate with. They're like, you know what, I met that amazing person, she was so funny, she was so kind-hearted, or yes, their work was excellent. They're going to call you. They're going to open up the doors of opportunity for you. So that's what I mean about be the opportunity, but be authentic, because people want you. They're going to come for you, not what they think you're giving them necessarily.
Wow, that is so powerful. You know, that is so powerful. And especially, your topic, you just dovetailed it into the theme, be the opportunity.
Yes.
And as you're saying, yesterday I was really wearing the Tees Paloma design by my daughter, and it was an African, jacket. I couldn't show all of it, and that's the fashion. We want to bring the Africa fashion into the film industry. We want
Yes.
to be who we are authentically. We don't want to lose ourselves and who we are in our stories. That, the only fashion that must be on the screen is the Western. No, you must wear this kind of, even let's say, for instance, if we are capturing a story of an African wedding, we want to bring that story with the authenticity of the African fashion and the African dress of that bride and the groom, not wearing a suit and a tie. We want ours, like you see, Chief Jasper, he's wearing his authentic attire from his tribe in Nigeria. So that we want that to continue as a legacy in the film industry. So we want to partner with people like you as well to tie ends between Africa and the US into that space. What opportunities
Absolutely.
are there?
So here's the thing, right? Like, you have to open your mind and not just think outside of the box, but think beyond borders, right? Like, go beyond borders. That's what I love about the Amen Show. We don't have borders. We literally have guests from all over the globe. And if you want to be a guest in our show, share your story, please contact us, right? That's a little plug for the Amen Show. But, here's my advice. Collaborate. Whatever your budget is, collaborate within your community and give others a chance, right? So you mentioned Tis Paloma. She's a young, beautiful designer, just really aspiring. Instead of, when you're planning your piece, when you're planning your film, instead of thinking like, who's the top designer, I want to make sure they're this top X designer that's represented in my film. What about helping to make other people's dreams come true? Right? Like, you may not be able to pay them, but it's that collaborating. Give a young designer a chance to put her piece, his piece in your film. That is how you're going to create this community, and they're going to create this organic buzz. That's the organic buzz and influence that you need, right? Aside from collaborating beyond the border. So that is.
Yes. Wow, absolutely. And thank you, Amen Show. Amen Show is a sponsor of this platform that we are using for our virtual summit. So thank you so much. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you so much. Kat is my co-host. And as she said, so we have partnered already with the Afro International Film Market and Festival. And this partnership, we want to bring it to Africa so that we also do the workshops of, young designers. How would you also help them to beef up their level so that their designs can be of the standard that can be chosen as well? That's the other thing.
Well, one thing, you have to create visibility, right? They have to be able to find you, or you look for them and you knock on doors. But also, you have to have good quality, right? So if you're trying to sell your designs, it has to be good quality and it needs to fit. You know, one of my other nicknames is the fit expert, because we spend a lot of time fitting, and you need to represent yourself accordingly, because you cannot give like something that looks great on a hanger and once you put it on it looks terrible. Well, nobody's going to want to vouch for that. No one's going to want to wear it, and you're not going to tell your friends about it either, right? So I would
Wow.
definitely make sure that they're very knowledgeable and it fits well and it's a good quality.
Wow, that's so profound. Let me also just open for the other speakers if they have anything to ask from Kurt. If you want to ask anything before she gets to her next appointment as well. Chief, did you have anything, or we covered all on the Africa fashion?
Yes, she did incredibly well with the African fashion. One of the mandates is development and promotion of fashion, film, music, art, and dance. Everything Africa.
Yes.
Everything Africa, every unique thing Africa, everything we want to sell to the outside world. And then we want the outside world to come into Africa. We need to build that bridge where we can have free flow of information, commerce and industry, arts and culture, so that even the Africans in the diaspora will have direct connection with their culture back home. You could be anywhere in the world, but you're still in Africa in terms of culture, in terms of your fashion. So fashion is very, very important aspect of it. So, with you soon. Very, very soon we'll be engaging with you going forward. Thank you for coming over.
Thank you, Chief Jasper. And to add to what you were saying is, you know, Janet had mentioned that when they cast her, she's Hispanic, so they're putting her in a whatever box that they think, right? Same thing with Asians, same thing with Africans, right? They're putting them in a box. Well, if there's 54 countries in Africa, that's huge. That's 54 different, you know, cultures, languages, etc., that the world has no idea. So I think it's your job, all of you, go make a film about your country, because, you know, when we think of Africa, we think of maybe certain areas, but not every single country. So there's your opportunity right there. Go tell me the story about your country. Go show me the language. Go show me the food. Go show me the fashion and the dance and the culture. And then let's bring all of that together and show the world. That is what we need.
Interesting.
Absolutely.
You just said it right there. We've been able to have presence in 30 nations of Africa right now. We have coordinators of our programs and projects in 30 nations of Africa. Between now and February next year, we're going to have 54 coordinators in all these nations. And their role is basically to bring those culture, those diverse culture of those various places to us, so we can send it to the outside market. So we are really in the process of getting that done. By next year's edition of our physical film market and award in Los Angeles, you see a lot of African effects, you see a lot of African culture with huge visibility.
Yeah, it's time to tell your story. It's time to tell your story. You can sit behind and complain about what someone has said about you or what someone did to you, but if you don't stand up and tell your own story and tell your own truth, then truth be told, you can't say anything about what someone else says. And it's too, we have too many outlets, too much media, just too much opportunity is there to tell the truth and to let the world know this is Africa. And I look forward to working and collaborating with you, Chief, on that project. Yes, bringing, and like Kat said, and others have said, and you are doing, and that is bring all the stories to the light. And then that way, just to kind of, not take it off of the track of what we're talking about, but this is what we're talking about. What you have to do is that showcase. You show the world. I can tell you anything. You can go and tell my story, and that's not true. But if I don't stand up and say that's not true and show you the truth, then the rest of the world believes that's the truth. And they have no other choice but, because why? I'm not standing up for myself. But Africa is too strong, too many nations, way too many people not to stand up.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. And people have no idea of the diversity in Africa. And it's time to show that.
Yeah.
It's same thing with
The most-
Asia. Same thing with
Yeah.
Asia, Yeah. Yes.
It's a well-known fact that Africa is the most diverse nation in terms of culture.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not kidding you. In Nigeria alone, we have over 2,000 languages.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah. It's more language. It's more than, it's overwhelming. Africa is truly, if you want to say one word about Africa, the one word would be overwhelming.
Yeah, so all over Africa, it's a diverse continent with a whole lot of stories, and some of these stories are what the world is waiting for, the unique story of Africa. And it's high time we begin to tell our stories ourselves. Enough of the whole world telling stories of Africa. They talk about Africa, they talk about famine, they talk about hunger, disease, war, bad governance. Yeah, but we have beautiful stories in Africa. We have beautiful environment in Africa. If you go to Namibia, Namibia is kissing, Namibia sand dome, the desert is kissing the ocean. It's so unique. It's so unique. If you go to Namibia.
Thank you. Let's say thank you to Kat before she goes out.
I cannot wait to see everyone's production as it rolls in. I know it's going to take time, but I cannot wait. And please let us know how we can support this whole movement. And I appreciate everybody for having me today. And hello to all and love to all. Thank you.
Love you,
But
Kat.
before you go, Kat,
Yes.
let's show you our beads. Chief, I know Africa without beads is not Africa. Can we show her our real special beads? You see, this
very
one from South
beautiful.
Africa. And let Chief show you. See on his screen from Nigeria. That is our pride.
Mm-hmm.
I love that.
Thank you.
I
Thank
will
you
give-
so much.
I will give you my mailing address and you guys can send me some.
Exactly. So,
Will
yes,
do.
you can send
Definitely.
me.
Okay,
Absolutely.
bye everyone. Thank you so much.
Okay. Bye-bye, Kat.
Thank you. Bye-bye, Kat. Thank
Yeah.
you. That was well
Looking
done.
forward to
Well
being on
done
the
and
show,
special.
Kat. Reach
Yes.
out to me.
Yes.
Yes, thank you. And thank you so much. And we are now, we saved this topic for the last on the summit because it is very crucial. When we talk about the money, we don't need to rush. So we're going to take it to Q2. At Q2, we are waiting for the marketing solution that we can share with all of us. So now I'm going to hand over to Right Honorable Yvonne Gamble to share with us on the financial aspect of things now. We've been talking, you know, everybody's crying about money, budget, financial institutions. Let's get it down and sit back and allow Right Honorable Yvonne to share with us. First of all, let me bring you to the virtual stage and greet the viewers and share with us who you are and what do you do.
Okay. Well, thank you so much. This has been this is a very wonderful summit about the film industry. And it has just been so heartwarming to see everyone, especially the Craftons, to see the actors to come forward, the film directors to come forward, and just to listen to their authenticity. That makes a lot of difference. And the reason why, twofold, that makes a lot of difference to me. I am Right Honorable Yvonne E. Gamble. and I'm the CEO of Sanpete Financial Group, and we are a venture capital firm. And what venture capital does is that means that we make investments.
Is that the way? I thought it was my network. Did we lose right, Honorable? Chief, okay,
Yes.
it's the okay. It's just the two of us. It's fine. All right, no problem. What we can do, I know she's going to come back. She's going to come back. Maybe what we can be talking about is, oh, this is the very critical area that we are touching now, because we need this. Most importantly, it's about the financing of our film industry and marketing, because we had that, we know we have the talent, we have the stories ready, and now for even us to have that equipment that Janet was talking about. You know, sometimes we watch a movie and you say, oh, this one was recorded from a phone. And even the phone, it was, not a new, a smartphone. But someone has a talent and we can't dim that talent. So maybe as we wait for her, let's just play the video of the marketing tool that we're going to share of the eZWay, how we're going to help people to take them to the platforms where they can also be acknowledged through us, through Afro International Film Market and Festival. Let me just play this.
Welcome to eZWay Interactive, where you create your influence effect, get access to influencers, and then turn your influence into income.
So we do have the way, we have access to the tools, we have the platforms. Now it's for people to contact us, and then we know how to channel them, how to make sure that people with the talent, we align them with the right opportunities. Even with the access, for funding, we align them. We are absolutely not saying you will surely get funding when it comes to us, but we know the process. Processes are not that easy, but processes are possible for those who qualify. All we can do is to workshop people. We are going to have workshops after this as Afro International Film and Market Festival. We are going to have workshops with the potential people in the industry and show them the opportunities, show them the processes and the channels where they need to go back and master their craft. We're going to channel them to the training of that in the entrepreneurship space of this particular industry. It's not like, okay, come, there's funding for you. There are processes, but partners are there. Sponsorships can be there, but it's a process. Chief, what do you want to say? Let me just hand over to you as well in this hour.
Beautiful, Princess. Beautiful, beautiful. You nailed it there. You nailed it there. When this situation came, have this organization established, the Afro International Film Market and Festival. It was God who actually gave us the message. And the message is because it is only people that are willed, it's only people that are equipped by God Himself that can pull this process through. More often than not in Africa, we want a ready-made food. People don't want to pay the price. They just want to get it done. If they want anything, they want to get it done. Sometimes people want to go, there's a 4-year course, in case you want to study economics. You have to be there for 4 years. Sometimes Africans want to be there for 6 months and walk away. But God decided to move around Africa and choose people like us because God is aware we have the energy, we have the strength, we have the focus, we have the drive to build these bridges we are building. It's not been easy since 2017. We've been meeting, crisscrossing, engaging professionals across the world, in Canada, in US, in UK. And today we are here having deeper conversations on how to drive the film economy of Africa to the next level. It's been a very, very serious journey. And I want to really appreciate God for what He's doing so far.
Thank you so much, Chief. There are certain areas that we are going to address with Honorable, Right Honorable Yvonne Gamble when she comes back. And these are the areas where we are going to focus on. How would you categorize the film industry in Africa? And again, we're going to touch in the area of what is the economic impact of digitization on the film industry, and what will its far-reaching disruption do to the movie screen in-person segment of the industry. And the other one will be, with all the films coming out of Africa, has Africa reached its full potential economically in the film and audiovisual sector? The last one that we're going to touch base on and address is Africa is made up of 54 countries that are working to come together on so many economic, social, and communications fronts. How can we effectively navigate data and narrative in the film industry across the vastness of the continent? So these are the areas that we are going to address. It's okay if she comes back or not, but we are going to put this in a recording. We'll have a separate recording with her and then put it with our summit to all those who will be watching and also who will be needing the access to this material later. The material is going to be on sale because we had the yesterday's part and today's part. So it's going to be put into one production and then people can access it in our platform. And that will be a donation to make us to be able to go forward to the next step, to host the next summit, to host the workshops, and to pay for everything that we need for for the movement to go forward. So this material is going to be available, and we're going to put in the marketing as well and marketing tools because it's important. We heard that this is what Africa film industry needs. So for now, what I'm going to do now, Chief, we received artists who wanted to contribute to the summit with their special music. Yesterday, we were with the Masondo family. You remember we played the video live from Victor Masondo as promised. That's his new album. Then we also know that Gail, the wife, is a songwriter and a musician. When she came to South Africa first with the Quincy Jones, production, she recorded a song with the Black Mambazo, and that was one of the biggest groups, African singing groups in South Africa, the legends of the African music. So she gave us a song and say, please enjoy this on the summit. So let's play that now.
Thank you.
Some people dream people do. Martin was one of them. He made his dream come true. Some people run, some people fight. Rosa was one of them. She sat down for what was right. Now it's your turn. Now is the time. Now you must carry on the dream they left behind. You must protect the freedoms they earned. Now you must give yourself away. It is your turn. Some people quit, and some people try. Because was one of them. He was willing to die. Some people break, and some persevere. Nelson was one of them. His love was stronger than their fear. And now it's your turn. And now is the time. Now you must carry on the dream they left behind. And you must protect the freedoms they earned. Now you must give yourself away. It is your turn. Now it's your turn. Now is the time. Now you must carry on the dream they left behind. And you must protect the freedoms they earned. Now you must give yourself away. It is your turn. It is your turn. You must give yourself away for the freedom there.
Wow. And the message, Chief, in that song, you know, the message in the song is such a beautiful message. She chose this especially for the summit and the encouragement that everybody had a dream. Martin Luther had a dream. When she you know, in the lyrics that Martin had a dream. And we must fight. And there were fighters for our freedom. And now it's our turn. Now it's our time. Carry on the dream that has been left behind. Give yourself away, Africa. Create. Some people created, some people tried, and some were willing to die, and some prayed, and some persevered. And she brought in President Nelson Mandela, who persevered 27 years for our freedom. in South Africa. And she said, protect our freedom. So it's us who can protect our freedom. And hence, Afro International Film Market and Festival is standing up and taking this initiative and say, we stand from Africa. We are going to protect our freedom. Give ourselves away. It is our time and it is our turn. Let us protect the freedom. Wow, what a beautiful song. Led by Gail Masondo and the Black Mambazo. Beautiful, beautiful sounds. Thank you so, so much to the artist who shared that beautiful message for us. Africa, it's your time. Stand up. Chief, maybe share with us now the way forward as you see it on the movement. Just share with us the way forward. We one thing we know, we will have the address from Right Honorable Yvonne Gamble. Maybe something happened with her connection, but nothing is lost. We will have that speech. Thank you. Maybe just share the next level of how we will be moving, and from the perspective and from when you had this vision, put things together, and from where you started and from where we are now and going forward.
Thank you very much, my amiable, wonderful, beautiful Princess of Africa, Dr. Msipin Koko. It is gratifying to note that Afro International Film Market and Festival is already flying. And I'm so excited. I'm so overwhelmed by this show of love and solidarity by all and sundry, particularly the speakers from all over the place, from Americas, from Europe, from deep heart of Africa, and from Asia, talking about Afro consciousness, talking about Afro culture, Afro lives, talking about everything about my wonderful continent, my wonderful people. I'm so happy today. Serious journey. It's been a very tedious battle pulling this through. Times in the past, I've addressed people about the need to embrace Afro consciousness in the area of our culture, film, dance, music, food, and people laughed at me. They thought I was crazy, but I knew I had clearly from God help support Africa to the next level. And the best way we can tell our story is through the film, is through our music and our dance. So the best form of education is music. The best form of education is storytelling. So I felt that conveying our culture through the films, music, and dance to the outside world is the best approach. And so we've been able to build infrastructure in terms of connection and network across Africa. Already we've covered 30 nations right now. We've been able to put coordinators in other places and give them mandates, and they're already working. Already we're in touch with several international and the process is ongoing as I speak. On the 27th of this month, a couple of days ago, my goodwill message was delivered in a UNESCO-funded event in Kansas City, Missouri. Out of the several letters that came from Africa, several letters came from the Royal Institution in Ghana. Royal Fathers from Kenya wrote in, but the one Afro wrote, Afro International Film Market and Festival, was the one that will be framed and put in their Hall of Fame for generations yet unborn to read and see what Afro consciousness is all about. And this goodwill message will be in the UNESCO website forever. And I was so excited. It drove out tears out of my eyes. I was emotional when I got this message from the coordinator of this great institution of Kansas City, Missouri. So that is a testament that Afro International is already going, we're already flying. So the future is bright. And I want to say this, we've overcome our challenges already. We are people that we work with courage, we work with faith. We see tomorrow before tomorrow comes. That's one thing unique about Afro consciousness. A true African man or woman can see tomorrow before tomorrow comes. And I'm seeing the tomorrow of Afro International already. We are going to be one of the biggest film markets in the world, where content will be sold and bought, where deals will be closed all over the world. So today's event, which wraps up what we've been doing since yesterday, is indeed our prayer answered. We are happy to have these speakers that talked about so many things. Ms. St. George talked about the challenges we face in Nigeria, in Africa, the bribery and corruption, the lack of funding. We've already started engaging government. As I speak to you, we started engaging the government of Zimbabwe for them in formulating policies that will motivate and encourage team-making process, team creative and culture and doing advocacy in enlightening our people on the need side. She also made mention of funding, finance, investment into the industry. That process is ongoing as I speak with a lot of donor agencies, a lot of international financial institutions in the world. We've already presented papers and we are following it up. In the next couple of months or so, we'll start seeing the fruits of our labor in that direction. We're going to be getting funding.
I see Chief is getting a challenge with the microphone, and also he did not notice that Right Honorable is on stage. All right, let's get it. Right Honorable Yvonne Gamble, you are back here. Thank you so much. Let's just get into your presentation without wasting the time so that we don't lose you again. I'm bringing you to stage. Yes, I'm bringing you right there.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Okay, and we will watch to make sure that I stay on stage and on camera. Okay, very good. What I'd like to begin with is to say that, I am Right Honorable Yvonne Gamble, CEO of Sanpete Financial Group in the United States, and we are a venture capital firm. And what we bring to the film industry is the capital. So I'm going to talk for a few moments about that and just what that does and what the outlook is for the industry in Africa. To categorize, first off, the film industry, the production and distribution of film and audiovisual works is one of the most dynamic growth sectors in the world. And thanks to digital technologies, production has been growing rapidly in Africa in recent years. And this case can be seen with Nollywood with respect to about the 2,500 films that we see coming out each year. And what I'd like to say and add to that is that should be somewhere upwards of about 25,000 coming out of the continent of Africa. We're dealing with 54 countries there, and we're dealing with stories untold. And one of the main things about the stories untold coming out of Africa is this. Because Africa is the birthplace of civilization, there's a lot of stories and a lot of information that we want to know as a species here on the planet. And there is in that right in and of itself is an opportunity of a lifetime. meaning an opportunity that actually exists over many lifetimes to be able to tell those stories. And others will be able to
All right. She will definitely be back. They have a challenge of the load shedding. They have a challenge of the load shedding. But all right, she's here. She's fighting back. She's fighting back. Let's bring her to the virtual stage. All right, continue, Honorable Nur.
Oh, okay. All right. The economic impact of digitization, I'd like to talk for a moment about that on the film industry. In the last 15 years, the growth of this digital technology has been one that basically it's massive, and it's actually being benefited throughout Africa by the internet infrastructure that is being brought on to Africa. Today, there are over 816 million mobile connections. I'm talking about satellite television. I'm talking about just mobile connections throughout sub-Saharan Africa. But it only accounts for about 77% penetration. And what that means is that is a long bridge to actually get us to that 100% and even over 100% penetration, which many other countries already have. And only about 17 million in Middle East and North Africa, which only accounts for about 116% penetration as far as being able to get images into Africa. In several countries, the digital economy is becoming one of the main drivers of growth, which accounts for about 5% of their gross product. When you think about that, that gives you about a 95% where you really have not even begun to touch. So as we go deeper into this, you'll see this industry is vast, it is large, and it is wide and growing in several of the African countries. The film, the audiovisual sector, young Africans have found themselves able to actually access these industries with something as simple as a smartphone. You can have major productions. And one example that I'd like to talk to you about, I had the opportunity in 2018 to be at the Toronto International Film Festival and met Jenna Bass. She won, a South African young lady, and she won for High Fantasy, her film. And she did that film on a smartphone. So there is no excuse as far as can this industry actually build itself and build itself up. And I'm going to tell you some facts about this particular industry that are very that are unknown, and also some things that are known about it. Across most of the continent, the potential in this industry is largely untapped. It's estimated that these sectors account for about 5 billion US dollars in Africa and could employ an upwards of 5 million people. And the way that is accomplished is through a service model, and that is servicing the global market. Not only servicing the market in Africa, but servicing the market in the world with this information, with these stories that are coming out of there, with what it is actually, what's there and what's available. And everybody is really looking for that. That's the key that you have to understand, producers. I'm talking to producers, directors, writers, industry, filmmakers. Everyone is looking for those 54 African countries to tell their stories, to bring stories out into the marketplace, to tell what is happening. People do invariably know and understand that much of what they have received and much of what has come out of Africa has not been the truth, or it's been watered down, or it's been retold. And they are looking and waiting and hungering for that story to be told. There are several projects, several countries around, such as Morocco. They have been strategically positioning the kingdom as a filming destination since the late 1980s with the construction of film studios. They're giving away tax rebates in upwards of 20%. That country made 90 million in 2019 in the film industry alone. South Africa's film industry is amongst the oldest in the world. That's right. South Africa's film industry is amongst the oldest film industries in the world. They have technical talent, visual effects specialists, post production professionals, and they are recognized amongst the best in the world. And these are things that you have to understand. You have to know who you are, what your capabilities are. This is what you have. And this is what you've always had. This didn't just come because we're having this summit. We're bringing this information out to the marketplace. We're bringing this information out globally. But this information and these facts have always existed. In South Africa alone, they give away 20 to 25% tax rebates, and they have some of the top range film studios. Meanwhile, those that came on, such as Maritanus, a bit later, they are particularly more aggressive in their film rebate screen, giving up to 40% on qualifying expenses. And they are one of the largest in Africa and the most generous in the world with giving that away. Here's a note that I want everyone to understand about the service model. The service model means that that industry is able to have a solid transport and film infrastructure. They've got co-production treaties, they've got tax rebates, and have a large pool of well-trained technical professionals. In addition to that, in Morocco, South Africa, and other countries in Africa boast a variety of natural and urban landscapes and great infrastructure, such as Kenya, Namibia, Rwanda. They are also in the process of filling in the gaps in their policy and in their human capital in order to pursue these strategies. Working with these 54 countries that you have, for the first time, there's available, and Africa already has this. Understand what I'm saying? These things are already in place. We don't have to wait for them to get in place. They're already in place. And what you have to understand about it is there's a much that you don't know about Africa. For as much as you think you know, there's that much more that you don't know. And what you have is you have the data. Whenever we go into filmmaking, film production, and especially on a large scale, we want to do qualitative data. We want quantitative data. We want analysis. We want data. We want narrative. It is there at your fingertips for you to actually go and look this information up at the continental level and at the regional level. This information is there for you, for those who are designing films, who are developing films. If you think about it, many films have been produced, many aerial, many on the ground films have been produced right in Africa and have always been being produced in Africa. It didn't just start today, and it won't end tomorrow. Here in Africa, technology coincides with a global movement towards diversity on the screen. We're looking across the globe to have more diversity on the screen. What better place? You got 54 countries full of diversity. Diversity that would be one word that could explain it. Overwhelming. There's so much diversity there. There's so much diversity in Nigeria alone. There's over 2,000 languages in one country. And think about all the other countries. That's diversity. How did these languages come about? How did they derive these? How do they communicate one with the other, having all these different languages? How do they communicate from north to south, east to west? There are so many questions that can be answered in documentaries, short films, information, any way that you need. Everything you need to know would come right straight out of here. To date, stockholders have mainly put their money into English speaking languages markets such as South Africa, Nigeria, Kenya. But the ambition to expand across the continent is eradicating a shift in which the African continent has the potential to generate substantial business models, breaking with the subsidy-based funding models. A subsidy-based funding model, and I want to listen carefully, directors, listen carefully, film producers, industry leaders, and that is you want to move away from a subsidy-based funding model. A subsidy-based funding model says, I'll put the money on the film and I'll also take the lion's share, and then I will pay you back more or less as though you're simply an employee of mine. That's not what you want. You want direct investment. You want someone to come with an investment into your film, into your infrastructure, and then when that film is made, then you pay that person their return on investment. That's how it is done. That is the standard, and that's what you want to get. So I want you to remember those two words, direct investment. That's what you want to have. No more of this subsidy based, I'm going to pay you like you're an employee. That way we'll turn that 5 billion that is already slated for you into 10 trillion. Final words. I just have a few. Africa has all the human and economic resources and all the energies and talent to shape its own destiny. It may take some time, but not as much as you think. But it does not matter. The movement has already begun, and it is 1,000 creative fires already smoldering all throughout the whole continent of Africa. They've already put out into the internet a torrent of images, narratives, and stories that can surpass and is flowing. Africa will soon be in full stride in the film and audiovisual industry, and obviously it has the capacity to outpace the world market. Thank you.
Wow. This is exactly what we've been waiting for, bringing in the solutions. You've addressed the challenges and with the solutions, shooting right straight to the point. And absolutely, you are absolutely right with South Africa. We've made contact in South Africa also with the it's the National Film and Video Foundation. National Film and Video Foundation. So I'm in touch with them. They're also under the Department of Arts and Culture. And also with the South African Film and Television Awards, Foundation. Because these are the players in the South African film industry. And the actual thing with the foundation is that they want to promote the South African film industry locally and internationally. So partnering with Afro International Film and Market Festival, this is our mission going forward. And the mission of the South African side is to collaborate with all the stakeholders to enable the development and promotion of a transformed and thriving audiovisual industry. Because now they've also, through the research, found that people watch movies more than even going to the cinemas. People watch online. So this is another challenge for those who are running the cinemas, but it's the opportunity for those who are on the digital space. Thank you so much, Right Honorable Yvonne, for that wonderful presentation. And the next one, what we are going to do on the next summit or a next workshop we go step by step on the funding.
Yes.
We need to do that step by step. Now, it's going to be a special workshop for that. And people will sign up for it to register, and we take them step by step on what we are presenting today for them. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Let
I
me
appreciate the opportunity.
Thank you so much. Let me hand over to Chief before I do the thank yous. From me, Dr. Nsikinxoxo, your moderator. It has been a wonderful 2-day summit, very successful from yesterday to today. And all I can say, to God, all the glory as we go forward. Thank you. Over to you, Chief, the founder and the executive chairman of Afro International Film and Market Festival. Chief, over to you to thank everyone. Unless he's muted, he can't hear me. Oh, okay. There he goes. Then, as we close, it's right on top of the hour of ending our show. We would love to say thank you to our partners. Thank you to our sponsors. Let's come up on stage with honorable. All right. Thank you to our partners. We partnered with PZAZ TV. And thank you to our sponsor, Amen Show Amplified Moms Empowerment Network from the USA. We saw Kat, she was presenting this afternoon to us as well. She's my co-host of the show. And thank you to our media partner, the eZWay Network family, that is the Wall of Fame in the USA. And I see Chief is here again. Let me just bring him up. On this, a lot of people have, presented, and they were talking on how to be on the right marketing platform. The media partner eZWay Network family, the network Wall of Fame in Hollywood with Eric Zuley. So we invite you to join us through this affiliate link that is on the screen. And we will then have a workshop with you with Afro International Film Market and Festival to direct people on how to pitch for marketing for any business. But we do have the marketing tool that is going to help people to bring them on board and up to speed, and also to be on the right platform of networking. When you are in the film industry, you need to network with the right people who are in that space, who have made it as well, who can lift you up. I always say, as you rise, lift me up. So we want to bring you to that platform that has partnered with us on the media from yesterday to today and going forward. So come and join us. Chief, are you audible enough now to do the thank yous and the vote of thanks?
Yeah, remarks. So I don't know what you want me to do. There was a disruption for the network, so probably you can come back again.
Chief, you were out of the we are out of the platform. We could not get you. It's the time that now, as the founder and the executive chairman of Afro International Film Market and Festival, you do the vote of thanks and also your closing remarks. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much, my executive director, Dr. Nchike Koko. I hope I got it right. I must appreciate you so immensely for the show of love and solidarity, what the brothers and sisters are doing across Africa and the diaspora. We're really excited about you, and we're praying that the God of Africa will continue to bless you and empower you to do more. First and foremost, I want to appreciate God Almighty for this vision He gave to us, and thank Him for the energy and strength He has also bestowed on us. We continue to worship and glorify Him as we continue to give us His strength. I also want to thank my partners all over the world who have supported in one form or the other for the success of this 2-day summit. One film, one market, one African legacy, African economy, challenges, opportunities, and possibilities. I really appreciate them and thank them so much. Let me also use this opportunity to appreciate the guest speakers, Mr. Eli Suarez, Mr. Eric, and Right Honorable Gambo, and the rest of them. Let me also thank my own president in Nigeria here, the president of the largest culture and creative industry in Africa, President Mr. Carola, for finding time to share his views and insights with us, despite his very tight schedule. Let me thank the Queen of Nollywood, Sean George. Let me thank our friend from the Bahamas, the great son of Africa. He's making us proud. I thank him so much. I also thank Brian. Brian is so passionate. He was actually looking forward to this. He was a few hours ahead of us in the summit. I really appreciate him. I thank him so much. I thank Ms. Carr, wonderful, beautiful woman. We are so happy to have her in our midst, and I'm sure, I'm fully persuaded that she's going to be part of our glorious future. Let me also thank the Masondo couple, the Masondos, beautiful couple, songwriters and musicians making Africa proud all over the world. The God of Africa continue to bless. So I want to thank the viewers, the participants for finding time to come and share views and listen to what our brothers and sisters are going to be talking about in our culture and creative industry and how we can really pull it forward. Frankly, I must say that I'm gratified to let this house know that it's been a long journey. And I'm so happy with the fact that we can see the light at the end of the tunnel. So we thank all of you for finding time to come on board with us. Now, I must inform once again that this is an ongoing conversation. This is not the end. On how best you can pitch your deck, how best you can develop your story, the pre-production, the production and post-production, and even the efficient, more efficient way network for distribution of your content. We're going to take this, we're going to address all the facets of the ecosystem of filmmaking, distribution, and all that. Film market in the world because they are all over the world. It doesn't matter the color, it doesn't matter the creed, it doesn't matter the sex, the gender, it doesn't matter the religion or the tribe. What is important here is that we are telling African stories through the lens of our camera. So thank you all for coming. I also encourage you to join us in the next edition where we shall share more insightful about what we are doing in Africa to take African narratives to the next. God bless you all, and I'll see you next time. My name remains Chief Jasper Johnson, on chairman the 7th of Ahumwa Kingdom, River State, Nigeria. I love you and I'll continue to do that so long as the code of Rio lengthens. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Chief. Maybe on behalf of all the speakers, let's give it to Right Honorable Yvonne Gamble to do the thank yous.
Okay. I would like to, yes, on behalf of this this summit, I want to say thank you to all the speakers. We do understand, that your time is very valuable, and we also appreciate all that you have brought to this, all the information, the teachings, the nuggets, the presentations. You brought your hearts, and you have represented the film industry in such a manner that that is just in keeping with what you do, the authenticity of the film industry. And we want to be supportive of you in your crafts as we go forward. And just want to say we thank you. We appreciate with gratitude and love.
Well, thank you so much. That was so awesome and beautiful. And, as we end the program, it's like, wow, is it really over? And yes, it's over. And it has been really such a beautiful 2 days of impact on the film industry. So for me, I say thank you to Chief, first of all, for bringing this opportunity to all of us and say, hey, there is a big elephant here. Come, let's all do this together. And he, he made sure, thank you, Chief, he made sure that he's not hiding it, but he's saying, here it is, right partners, right mindset, right timing, right resources. Can we put our hands together? There's something big and it needs all of us. And thank you for that, Chief, for bringing it to the right hands and we're taking it forward. And we are also going to just play the platform and just show that we have promised to offer the
I have
tool.
another.
Oh, okay, Chief, you want to speak? All right, okay, go on, Chief.
We
Yes.
have a fully packed next year's edition, physical film summit and award night in Los Angeles in July next year, where we're going to have everybody coming from all over the world to come showcase our content and how best we can close deals. We're going to showcase the tourism potential of Africa and showcase culture, fashion, food. Everybody's going to be there for 5 days in Los Angeles from July to August. So I want to see this opportunity to invite and prepare everybody's mind towards that all-comers affair in Los Angeles next year, July 2023. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you so much, Chief, for that information. And it will also be made available on the website. The content of the summit will also be made available on the website that is has been on our screen. It will always be there. And thank you, Chief. Let me just put on the website everything again. We want every viewer and those who will be watching this later to go on our website and you will see all the good work that is coming from Africa. We are presenting Africa to the globe, and it's with its authenticity and with the leadership with integrity. This legacy will live on. Our dream will come to life. And thank you so much to everyone who has joined us. It is the end of our 2-day virtual summit, and we're going to end it just again to show you that we do have the tool. And please follow us with Chief. We are
Welcome to eZWay Interactive, where you create your influence effect. Get access to influence.
All along my mic, it looks as if it was muted or no. Okay.
Welcome to eZWay Interactive, where you create your influence effect. Get access to influencers, and then turn your influence into income.
So really get to the forums of the influencers. That's how you are also going to be an influence. So Africa, we have no excuse. We brought in all the opportunities to you. And now it's you who must take a step, come to us, ask, and we will show you the way, and we'll do it together. Most importantly, the financial guru is right here with us. Right Honorable Yvonne Gamble is right here with us to give us the direction. When you are not here, I said, even with the funding, it's not like it's just hot potatoes you come and buy. There are processes. People must learn and know how to do it, and we do it the right way. Thank you so much to you, Honorable Yvonne, and thank you to you, Chief. As we close, I'm just going to play that song by Victor Masondo again, as promised, and we close the summit. Thank you so much. Thank you. In fact, we have this wonderful and beautiful, rendition from John Michael Ferrari. Why don't we play that first?
Yeah.
Why don't you play that first? And
There's an ocean that loves a potion that heals the many anytime we cry. And it can flow right through you and lift you up and touch the sky. Look and make you happy, oh yeah. Look and heal your pride. So listen, people, what I say. Let's come together and find a way. With harmony, standing hand in hand. Let's come together like a rock and roll band. Just look around. Tell me what you see. Can we help each other? All those in need. Take the dark and make it bright. There's a love right here inside. Look and make you happy, oh yeah. Look and heal your pride. So listen, people, what I say. Let's come together and find a way. With harmony, standing hand in hand. Let's come together like a rock and roll band. I want a world where love is gold. People dancing young and old. I'll sing it out, I'll sing it strong. Love's a-coming to every lonely town. Ah, there's an answer. Let love be the dancer that keeps the music playing in our hearts. Ever wonder what a cheer will find? Someone loving, someone kind. Look and make us happy, oh yeah. Look and heal our pride. So listen, people, what I say. Let's come together and find a way. With harmony, standing hand in hand. Let's come together, let's come together. Let's come together like a rock and roll band.
Yay, all right.
I'm gonna
You know
make
what
me a
I-
video like that. I got
You know
to find
what?
the favorite song that I want to sing, and I'm gonna make
Really?
John was like, he wasn't embarrassed at all. He just said, I'm just gonna do it.
And this is the beauty of the eZWay family network, because we met in that network, and when we come together, they offer, that. So it's possible through the network. And now let me say this: did you listen to the message in the song? Because it
Oh
didn't
yes,
just give
I
you
did. I
any
love
song.
it. I know that song, but I mean, it is so many songs that you want to sing, that you want to do, and you think, okay, I'm not an actor, I'm not a singer, what have you. But he just went for it. He said he didn't care.
Absolutely.
He just went for it.
The message was specifically for the summit that let's come together and find a way.
Yes.
Listen, people, to what I say. Let's stand together hand in hand. Let's do it like a rock and roll
Roll
band. Yes, yes. So
Yeah, very
it
good.
is
Very good.
wonderfully crafted. And now,
Okay.
as we close it, we close that we have promised to come back. So we close with As Promised by Victor Masondo, and then we close.